Hi everyone, my name is Mark. I scored a 720 on my GMAT with the help of Target Test Prep. Before we dive into my GMAT prep journey and Target Test Prep as a course, I think it might be helpful to just get some background on myself. I'm a recent graduate of UCLA. I graduated back in 2021 with a degree in economics and a minor in entrepreneurship. Currently, I work in the commercial real estate industry, with my hand in every cookie jar, so to say, covering everything from construction management to acquisitions to underwriting, and even dabble a little bit in real estate brokerage as well. Onto kind of my GMAT journey. Going to business school and taking the GMAT was really a spur of the moment type of deal for me. As I was finishing up undergrad last year, we were doing so remotely just because of the pandemic and everything going on with that. And I really took this extended time at home to really look into different things that I was interested in pursuing, but necessarily not would have, had I not had all this time on my hands. Business school was one of those things. So I began asking around, asking my friends who took the GMAT what their recommendations were and what they used to study. And one of my friends actually recommended me Target Test Prep, and he scored a 710. So I thought if he can score a 710, why can't I? So I did a little bit of research on Target Test Prep, scrubbing Reddit forums and GMAT forums and things like that. And all the reviews of it were absolutely stellar. So, I just bought my subscription to the course and the rest is history. But from my research, Target Test Prep really had the best bang for your buck, so to say. It had Quant and Verbal in the same cohesive package, where a lot of the courses that people were recommending on, say, Reddit, recommended two different courses, one for Quant and one for Verbal. So in a way, you're paying two subscriptions to kind of get one education, where you could, with Target Test Prep, buy one package and get both Quant and Verbal. So that just really stood out to me. And that ultimately is what led up to my decision to end up going with Target Test Prep. I started my GMAT prep back in August of 2021, but I really did so half-heartedly for the first probably 6 to 7 months of that GMAT journey, post undergrad life and finally graduating college and not having to worry about studying and tests anymore. I really took that time to really enjoy my newfound freedom, escape from studying and all with that. I was also in a relationship then too, which took up a large chunk of my time. And now I was also working full time, though it was work from home, so it wasn't too bad. All of this to say that I really saw studying as a chore and something that detracted from my life rather than something that would be setting me up for further success later on down the line. I really didn't focus on studying and really put my head down until June of 2022. Which in retrospect was a huge mistake, because now I got a new job back in January, where now I have to commute to work. So I was working from the office, and now I also lived on my own, had to make my own dinners, run my own errands. I didn't have my parents at home to, help me out with that, which definitely detracted from my mental stamina by the end of the day. It was good in a sense that I was no longer in a relationship, so I definitely had a huge chunk of time freed up now, and definitely got all the post-undergrad tendencies out of my system. Didn't feel the need to go out every week, and really started to embrace this adult life. But now I started studying, 20 plus hours a week. Even though I was super busy, I, made the time to, insert little bits of studying throughout my day. I would, wake up earlier just to study a little bit before work so my mind's fresh. Lighten my gym routine. So rather than going every weekday, I would, go some weekdays and cut those workouts short just so I have more time to study at home afterwards. And it really wasn't until I focused and put my head down where I really found the value in Target Test Prep and really began to appreciate how well curated the course is. The study plan really provided me structure and really helped schedule my studying with my anticipated test date, and really kept me on track and on pace, really. Towards the end of my kind of prep phase, I was drilling practice tests weekly per the Target Test Prep study plan. and use target test prep and its, easy, medium, and hard quizzes per topic to really brush up on the topics that I could improve on, while also, reviewing topics so I don't completely draw a blank on test day. From my mock tests, I was scoring consistently around 700, though my first one I scored at 660. And I took my first GMAT last month in September, scoring a 710 with a 48 on quant and a 40 on verbal. I really think that the test day anxiety really got to me. I scored subpar on my integrated reasoning, though a lot of people say it doesn't matter. Definitely thought I could do better. So immediately after that test, I scheduled another GMAT test at the same test center a month ahead, and went back to drilling tests, reviewing concepts with target test prep, and also using the OG GMAT prep book just to drill practice questions as well whenever I had the time. And I took my second GMAT earlier this month in October and scored a 720 with a quant of 49 and a verbal of 39. You're probably wondering, I guess, after that whole journey, how do I think that target test prep helped me achieve my score? And, just to reiterate, I came into this whole GMAT scene really knowing nothing. I didn't even know what GMAT stood for. But target test prep really helped me and handheld me through the whole process, gave me a structured study plan to really follow, and really provided me that guidance in a realm where I was quite literally blind. The tips and tricks that target test prep also provides for quant, and also the systematic approaches that it provides you for verbal, the verbal section of the GMAT, were really imperative of my success. The content that target test prep provides is also really written in a casual tone, I would say. So it's not really dense, it's not really mundane to read and study from, like a lot of the textbooks are in college. And that really kept studying very lighthearted and honestly very bearable. But aside from that, though this isn't content related, the customer service of target test prep is really bar none. The chat replies on the website are super, super quick. Everyone that I've spoken to, and I've spoken to a lot of the representatives there, they're always super friendly and helpful, and it's really a testament to how dedicated they are to your success. Additionally, if you've done any research on prep courses, you'll see that Scott, the founder of Target Test Prep, is super active on Reddit and the GMAT forums, and all of his staff are also super, super active as well. So it's really cool to see a staff that really cares and that they're really in the trenches with you, helping you kind of navigate these rough waters, so to say. Kind of lastly, there's a lot of content to memorize and learn with the GMAT, and Target Test Prep really plans out review days and review quizzes, which I found super, super helpful, because rather than just throwing a bunch of content at you, they'll plug in these little review days where you go and review your notes for that day, or they'll give you review quizzes so you make sure that you still grasp the material 10, 20, 30 lessons in. And it really shows how detail-oriented and well thought out the whole course is. Now, I guess onto some advice that I would give to people taking the GMAT, and if you're thinking about taking the GMAT, definitely my number one advice, or my number one piece of advice, is to really focus and be intentional with your studying, so you don't have to stretch it out as long as I did and have to revisit it again nearly a year later. That's one regret that I have that I really wish I could change if I could go back. If you do go with Target Test Prep, actually follow the study plan to the T. It's super well thought out and well planned out, that if you follow it, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but you have a really high chance of scoring very high on the GMAT. A lot of people don't take the GMAT because they say they have a busy schedule, but more likely than not, you definitely have the time to do this. When I was working full time, and I still am, but I was also going to work events, going to the gym, and I was at kind of my peak busyness throughout my GMAT prep process. But but I'd still put in 1 to 2 hours per weekday, and on the weekends is kind of when I would ramp up my studying and put in 5+ hours. But you can do these little chunks throughout the week, and on the weekends is kind of when you do your bulk of your studying, which you'll have time to do as long as you just set the time away. So definitely set time aside. You definitely have time to study for the GMAT. You just have to look for it. And my last piece of advice is if you don't get the score you want on the first go, take the GMAT a second time. The first go is really to get the test day jitters out of the way and get familiar with your test center. I recommend to take all successive tests at the same test center, just so you're familiar with the setting and how the GMAT's administered there and things like that. For me, my second go actually went a lot smoother. I knew the protocol for the test center and really felt like a regular there, which ultimately attributed to my score, or my final score. Last but not least, I really want to thank Scott and the whole team at Target Test Prep for such a great course, and really being the main reason why I was able to achieve a 720 on my GMAT. Other than that, I want to wish everyone best of luck on your GMAT journey and happy studying. Thanks.